It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Backlog refinement seems to be a pretty hot topic right now, so I thought it'd be a good idea to share with you 3 warning signs that backlog refinement is failing and what kind of things you might need to address. So, this is interesting because I thought of this topic during one of my Scrum trainings. And I constantly get questions about backlog refinement. So here are the 3 warning signs. Warning sign number 1, drum roll: the work items that you've placed in there, the stories, are consistently too large to be executed in a single sprint. So it requires the work to be broken down. One of the tricks that I can tell you that we do is we don't allow anything to be larger than an 8. So we use 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, or t-shirt sizes: extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. What this does is it forces us that if work's too big to break it down. Now, another thing is we make sure we have our backlog refinement or backlog grooming meeting once a week for an hour. So you can choose any time you want. For us, typically it's on Wednesdays, and we do it from 11 to noon. And it's just a good time in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. Whenever you want to get it done, it's fine. But it's a good breaking point where the team can spend 1 hour a week. Each team can spend 1 hour a week with the product owner, helping break down those stories to help get them to be correctly sized so that they will fit in a sprint. But I feel like sometimes we don't do enough of the ideation and discovery phases of creating backlog items. So what winds up happening is we create something based on a subject matter expert's opinion, and it drives us down a pigeonhole of having work items that are too large because you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And it just means that those items never, ever, ever get broken down correctly. So if you find that all of your items need to be broken down, that's usually a sign that there's that's a symptom. That's some conversations that should be happening are not happening in a timely manner. The second one is that the product owner doesn't have a clear vision and strategy. So this is interesting because one of the things that I say all the time is that in addition to having a sprint goal, that it's the product owner's responsibility to pull together a press release. And in that press release, I want to see things like identification of the who, what, where, when, why, and how of what we're trying to do. I want it to come out and say, for our target customer who is suffering or struggling with this problem, our product or service is this type of product or service that provides this key benefit, a compelling reason to buy it. Unlike our competitor's product or service, which is inferior to ours, our product or service does this different or better and proposes a unique value proposition. And I think that if we can get to the point where the product owner understands the importance of establishing that at the product level, and a team can leverage the sprint goals at the sprint level, then it should be easy for us to have the overarching product goal, which is now in the latest version of the Scrum Guide, by the way, and the sprint goal in alignment with that product goal. And that's really going to help us to be successful. So if you go in and you don't have one of those vision statements, you probably need to work on that before you're doing refinement. And the last one is just work items being broken down to the appropriate level of detail and including the right amount of information. So even if the item's not too big to fit in a single sprint, sometimes it just doesn't have the right detail. Sometimes there's missing information. Many times there's too much information. I know that sounds crazy, but if you get down to the devil of the detail of describing exactly, to the nth degree of what you're trying to do, what's going to happen is people within teams and organizations are going to start to feel uncomfortable. They're not going to want to work as hard on these items because they feel like the work is being imposed upon them. Where on the flip side, if you just come in with the standard as a blank, I would like to blank, so that blank, and you got a really generic item, nobody's going to want to take that up with confidence either. So I think the game here is that you have to understand that there needs to be balance. So it's not just having the right level of detail with regard to information. It's not just having things broken down to a sufficiently small level. It's not just making sure that the product owner has the clear vision and strategy in the form of a press release. I think it's a combination of those three that really cause the decrement of the quality of what we do. It's the way that we can see the writing on the wall and know that we need to adjust other practices so that our refinement can be the best it can be. Keep it short and sweet today. That's going to do it. As always, we encourage you, if you have a topic you want to talk about, reach out to us at learnmore@agiledad.com, where we'd love to learn more about what you want to know. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.